Hello everyone! Today we are going to focus on the animal kingdom to determine how these animals can be further divided into two phyla, or groups, called vertebrates and invertebrates. Animals can be divided into two main groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. To classify an animal, scientists usually start by checking for a backbone. Animals with a backbone are called vertebrates, while those without a backbone are called invertebrates. For example, the sea star and the salamander are both in the animal kingdom. However, salamanders have a backbone, but sea stars do not. The salamander and other animals with backbones are classified in the same phylum, called vertebrates. The sea star and other animals without backbones belong to the other phyla called invertebrates. Let us investigate further. The 7 vertebrate classes include mammals, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and fish. The fish group has 3 categories: the jawless fish, cartilaginous fish, and bony fish. Vertebrates are chordates, and most have a backbone. They have a circulatory system and a heart and blood vessels, a digestive system to change food into a useful form, a skeletal system for support, a respiratory system for gas exchange, and a nervous system for control. Vertebrates have large brains and well-developed senses. Let's take a closer look at each. Mammals can live on land or in water. They have hair or fur on their skin and have jaws and skeletons made of bone. Most mammals give birth to live young and feed them mother's milk. Mammals have lungs that gather oxygen from the air. Reptiles, such as turtles, snakes, crocodiles, and lizards, live in water and/or on land. They have scales on dry skin, along with jaws and skeletons made of bone. Most reptiles lay eggs with soft shells on land. Reptiles have lungs that gather oxygen from the air. Some examples of amphibians include frogs, salamanders, newts, and toads. Most amphibians live in water when young and on land as adults. They have smooth skin, jaws, and skeletons made of bone, and lay eggs without shells in water. Amphibians use gills to gather oxygen from the water when they are young. As they become adults, they develop small lungs and skin to gather oxygen from the air. Most birds live on land and most fly, with the obvious exceptions such as the penguin and ostrich. They have feathers on skin and scales on their legs. Birds have jaws and skeletons made of hollow bones. They lay eggs on land with hard shells and have lungs that gather oxygen from the air. Anthropologists are using fossils to connect modern birds with ancient dinosaurs. As I mentioned, there are 3 categories of fish. The first is jawless fish, such as lampreys, live in water and do not have scales on the skin. They have no jaw but have small teeth in a round, sucking-type mouth. Jawless fish have soft skeletons made of cartilage and use gills to gather oxygen from water. They lay eggs without shells. Cartilaginous fish, like sharks and rays, live in water and have scales on their skin. They have jaws and soft skeletons made of cartilage and use gills to gather oxygen from water. Most lay eggs without shells. And finally, bony fish, such as salmon and trout, live in water and have scales on their skin. They have jaws and skeletons made of bone and use gills to gather oxygen from water. Bony fish lay eggs without shells. The classes of invertebrates include arthropods, mollusks, worms, sponges, and echinoderms. Most invertebrates do not have a backbone. Since most invertebrates are small, they do not need large structures to support their bodies. Some invertebrates have rigid body parts. Invertebrates are much more common than vertebrates. In fact, most of the members of the animal kingdom are invertebrates. Key groups of arthropods are insects, such as wasps and butterflies, arachnids, including spiders, scorpions, mites, and ticks, crustaceans like crabs, crayfish, lobster, and shrimp, and centipedes and millipedes. The insect group is most numerous. It is estimated there are still tens of millions of species of insects that have not yet been classified. There are about 1.1 million known species of arthropods, compared to about 42,500 species of chordates. There are more species of arthropods than there are species in all other phyla combined. Arthropods come in all shapes and sizes and can be found in a wide variety of habitats. Arthropods have jointed legs and segmented bodies that are covered with a hard, waterproof covering called an exoskeleton. Arthropods also have strong jaws and well-developed nervous systems and sense organs. Most arthropods grow by molting their exoskeleton, which is really another way of saying the animal sheds its old feathers, hair, skin, or old shell to make way for a new growth. So, just to recap, vertebrates are animals that have a backbone, such as mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and birds. Invertebrates are animals without a backbone, such as arthropods, mollusks, worms, echinoderms, and sponges. Vertebrates make up less than 10% of the animals on Earth, while invertebrates make up over 90% of animals found on Earth. As you can see, there are many more invertebrates than vertebrates. Thanks for watching, everyone.